Hi everyone, it's Joey Remini from seekingbalance.com.au. I'm a vestibular audiologist and a neuroplasticity educator, and today I'm going to talk about vestibular migraine. And again, this is one of the very common conditions that I see over and over again, and I have seen many people reverse this one and return to life without migraines. But what is it? Well, first of all, vestibular migraine may or may not come with headache. So it's sometimes a silent headache. And what people usually report is some kind of a period that's usually 20 minutes, maybe a few hours, of dizziness, vertigo, spinning, floating, visual, spotting, dotting, auras. So it's like really feeling migrainous, feeling very sensitive to light, sound, or busy places. And many people, when they experience migraine, will naturally want to retreat to a dark room and not talk to anybody or eat, right? So it's almost like we enter an experience of sensory overwhelm or overload or hypersensitivity. And then the body is calling us inward to simplify and have minimal sensory inputs. So vestibular migraines can come and go at any age. They may or may not be related to hormone transitions and hormone changes. So think about adolescence, potentially before or after pregnancy and birthing, IVF, um, perimenopause, menopause, and so on. And so vestibular migraine is often cyclical, but not always. And what I wanted to talk about today is breaking the cycle, because what I see, some people will just get the odd migraine once or twice a year, and it's kind of no big deal, you know. It's like getting the flu. It's if it comes and goes, I can handle it. It's okay. But the problem is for some people, what if it's cyclical? What if it's every single menstrual cycle? You know, or what if it's every 7 days or every 10 days or every 2 weeks? And it's like got this pattern that just keeps ticking over. That can lead to a lot of dread, a huge amount of anxiety, and profound feelings of hopelessness, actually. Um, so I wanted to talk about breaking the cycle. And if I circle back a little bit, we don't fully understand vestibular migraine, you know. Some of the proposed origins of it, I've heard, are a combination of vascular or blood flow changes around the brain and body, um, or neural pathway nervous system communication changes. So in your nervous system, you've got all of these neurons with little fingers, dendrites, and axons talking to each other with chemical messages flowing, neurotransmitters, electrical pulses flowing through your nervous system day and night. And it's proposed that through migraines, that those nervous system messages are changing. They're either flooded with too many, or they're blocked and cluttered like a traffic jam, or there's not enough going on. So there's a change to the quantity and quality of the nervous signals. And often the senses are involved. So we've got our eight senses. We've got taste, touch, smell, sight, sound, vestibular, proprioception, and interoception. Interoception is our internal body cues of hunger, thirst, sexuality, emotions, those inner cues. Vestibular is movement, orientation, tilting, acceleration. And proprioception is our capacity to orient and locate ourselves. Where am I? Where are my feet? Where are my ears? Where am I in the room? Where am I, right? So these are our eight senses. And we use our senses to stay safe, to navigate the world, and to be in relationship with the world. And migraines throw the senses off. So suddenly, what I'm seeing and hearing and smelling and tasting and sensing and locating, it doesn't make sense. So it's distressing, it's debilitating, and it makes it feel that it's really unsafe for us to do life. You know, I don't want to be driving a car if my eight senses are not all locked in and aligned, because I want to be able to feel the steering wheel, feel the pedals, see the road. You know, I want my senses working for me for safety. And as I mentioned with the interoception sense, that's our emotions. So even our emotions can be shifting and changing and complex as we're entering the landscape of migraine. So it's a big deal. Even if it just lasts for 20 minutes, it's upsetting. It can be really confusing, really scary. And again, most people will have medical investigations and they've got healthy MRIs, healthy blood scans, healthy ears, even though they're experiencing spinning, dizziness, or vertigo type symptoms and sensations. So I just wanted to start there. It can be really scary, confusing, and sometimes disheartening when the medical world actually finds everything normal. Like sometimes people are yearning for like an abnormal medical result just to get an explanation. So we have to hold everything lightly and trust that our body is doing its best to recalibrate and reorient its eight senses. Your body doesn't want to be stuck in migraines, and it's actively working to re-levelize, right? To find that equilibrium. Part of what I work with my Rocksteady clients is helping them reconnect back into their bodies with loving kindness, loving awareness, curiosity, and be supportive of themselves. So they're learning how to slow down and live their life in relationship with their body and moving at the pace of their body. And so this is going to bring us into the conversation about breaking the cycles. What I notice with vestibular migraines or migraines in general is that when people are doing life and living life at a very fast, rapid rate, where they're not really living at the pace of their body, right? So, what do I mean by that? If I'm eating when I'm hungry and drinking when I'm thirsty and playing music when I feel like playing music and talking to a friend when I feel like connecting, I'm working with my body's rhythm, okay? However, if I'm forcing myself to eat just because it's lunchtime or forcing myself to drink just because I don't know, I've got to quickly get a drink before I've got to go to that next meeting, or if I'm forcing myself to talk at work meetings or attend social gatherings or social parties when I don't feel like talking or I don't feel like being social, when my life is dictated by external regimes or rituals or agendas, then my body has to push beyond what it wants and what it's capable of or what it's resourced for. And I have to sort of force myself to show up. And there's a lot of exhaustion in that, a lot of push. And what can happen over time if we're living life on other people's cadence, at other people's rhythm, is we can get a lot of suppressed emotions because we're not slowing down to feel through our day. You know, what emotions are unprocessed at the end of the day? In what ways am I feeling sad, resentful, disappointed, jealous? Maybe there's blame. So many different big emotions that are part of being human. Are we slowing down to process, digest, integrate, and feel through the complexity of that human landscape? So, with migraines, I think it can be that people, my clients, are learning how to redesign their life to match the rhythm of their body. And they're learning how to body scan, slow down, and reconnect to the wisdom of their body and to their insights, their intuition that help them creatively live the life they want to live, you know? So this can be so many things, coming back to really simple, basic, um, lifestyle, diet, sleep, going to bed earlier, really listening to the body in that super basic way, as well as getting sensory needs met. I've got eight senses. Am I understimulated or overstimulated? Social needs and community needs. Am I getting my social and community needs met? Do I need to cultivate more supportive community? Do I need to pull back? Am I over volunteering myself? So, really checking in with what feels in alignment with who I am and my values. And all of this helps to build the resilience. So, as we begin to break the cycles of migraines, it's really about learning how to best nourish your body physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. That's a whole journey. This is slow learning. There's no sort of manual or prescription that says this is what you need to do and this is how you do it. You are unique. You are literally learning by living through trial and error of what feels nourishing and what does not feel nourishing. So through this process over time, and I mean slowly, months and years, you may even change your career. You may build new friendships. You may end some relationships. You're looking at what nourishes you so that your body doesn't need to force itself to live in a way it doesn't want to live and to live at a pace that it can't sustain. With emotional suppression, if it's go, 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 and I should do this and I should be here and right? If there's not enough emotional space for emotional processing and emotional truth and emotional honesty, that's when I notice the migraines really come hitting in because it's almost like there's so many big, deep, complex emotions building up. The body's like, I don't even know where to store this anymore. I can't hold it in. It has to move somewhere. And so that's when the bigger migraines erupt. And there's like the body forces that digestion and processing through the migraine, where people will often take time off work, be in a dark room, spend time with themselves, and they'll be kind of somatically forced into that process. So my Rocksteady clients are learning how to drip feed that quiet pause, that time to be with themselves, um, reconnection to themselves every day, putting 15 minutes aside a day to connect into your own cadence, into your own wisdom, and into your own inner insight and intuition. And what I see is that their migraine severity decreases, and with time, actually, their migraines resolve. They break the cycle and they begin a new pattern. They begin a new way of communicating with their body and showing up in their daily life. So it's a real process and it's self-study, self-learning, because only you know what you feel, what you want to feel, and how you navigate what feels nourishing and what does not feel nourishing. So I hope that helps you get a little bit of an understanding of the nuance behind vestibular migraine. To learn more, visit my community, seekingbalance.com.au. I've got the Rocksteady book, which you can read, which is fantastic as a resource. And there's the full Rocksteady community, which is a comprehensive group. There's loads of learning where you can click play whenever you want. And we have monthly calls and monthly soul tending circles. So there's always that sense of having peers who understand and community who can support you through it, because it is a real process of navigating your nervous system, your body, and your eight senses. So with that, it's a bye for now.